What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today is Expanded Thursday, and today we're going over Michael Pramawat's Seismitoad Crobat deck that he actually used to win Texas Regionals with, or Houston Regionals, whichever one call it. And sorry, there's no face cam today. I was painting a deck. If you would have known that if you follow me on Snapchat at Marking22. Helped my dad paint a deck today, so I currently have paint all over me. So I didn't want to show my face today. Sorry about that. And also, if you missed yesterday's video for some odd reason, we are selling shirts. So down below will be a link to the apparel button where you can buy shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, all that fun stuff there. If you want some kind of Team Fish Knuckles merchandise, check that out down below. So let's go over the deck here. Now, we have been over this deck before. It was about 5 months ago, and this deck is still pretty strong for the expanded format here. So, of course, you got Seismitoad EX. Quake Punch does 30 damage. Your opponent can't play item cards from his or her hand. Of course, you know what this is. Seismitoad EX was a pretty big card in the last format here. And also, this deck got second place at Worlds. I forgot to mention that as well. So, it's still a big deck here. I think it's probably one of the best decks in the format right now. I think this is better than Toad Giratina. I could be wrong, but I think it is better than Toad Tina. And then, so 30 damage, not that much here, but you have the Golbats and Crobats here, and if you don't know, Golbat does 20 damage onto one of your opponent's Pokemon anywhere, and Crobat does 30 damage onto one of your opponent's Pokemon. So you can boost it by 20 or 30 damage, so Quake Punch can start doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you have like a Golbat and a Crobat, that is 80 damage right there, which is very nice here, and that's kind of why they're in here. You can use Supercross 10 to each opponent's Pokemon, and Skill Die for 30 to one of your opponent's Pokemon, which is pretty great there. We do play one Mewtwo here, and this is to help out against like Yveltal decks. You can use X-Ball to knock them out if they do get pretty crazy. It could help out against like decks that have that use a lot of energies like Groudon. Mewtwo could help out in that aspect as well, because Groudon is a bad deck for Seismitoad here. But I wouldn't expect much Groudon because of the Invisible Queen hype that is happening right now. And also, Michael played a Dedenne, or I can't remember what we used to say. It's been a while since we did Dedenne here. And then what you're going to use here is the Energy Sword here. This attack does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon here. Now, this is going to be used against Yveltal here. You can easily one-shot Yveltal 20, 40, 60, 80. Like, if you have a Muscle Band, they have 3 energies with the laser. You can knock them out 20, 40, 60, 80, yeah, it's 160, and then Laser or Golbat could knock out an Yveltal there. So Dedenne is cool, or Dedenne, I'm not sure how you say it. Dedenne, I'm not sure I say the name here, but it's a great counter for the Yveltal, especially since it is popular everywhere. And of course, you play 2 Shaman here to help draw your lasers, your Super Scoop Ups, your DCE, your Verse Seekers, whatever you need. Shaman can help draw into it, and that's all the Pokemon here. So we do play 1 Computer Search, of course, to help out in the early game. And Michael did play 1 Enhanced Hammer, discard a special energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon. This could be good in the Vespa Queen matchup, because if you can Quake Punch, knock out the active Vespa Queen, and if Enhanced Hammer the bench one, that is 2 energies gone from the field, which is great there. 4 lasers, flip a coin if has the active Pokemon is now poison. If tails, they are... Oh no, if has, they are poison and asleep. If tails, they are just poison. It helps do more damage with the Toad. 1 Megaphone, discard all Pokemon tools attached to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Now, usually, you don't play this Pokemon if your opponent is... If you are playing Headringers, you do not play Megaphone. But Toad Scrapper might still be good, because you can get rid of Headringers off your own Toads at the start of the game. It is a big debate going on right now. Which one do you play more, the Megaphone or the Toad Scrapper? I say if you are playing Headringers and the Jamminets, you never play Megaphone. But if you're not, it's kind of up to you. It's a preference thing for sure. Next up is Super Rod. Get back any combination of energies and discard pile 3 of those. So you could get back like 2 Golbats and a Water Energy, 2 Crobats and a Water Energy. A Golbat, you could get back a whole line. You can get back a Golbat, Crobat, and a Zubat. You can get a whole line back if you want to. Or Super Scoop Up if heads, put 1 Pokemon, all cards attached into your hand. And of course, you're going to use this to pick up heavily damaged Toads. Maybe a Crobat line if you would need to reuse those. There's so many options you can use the First Seeker here. 4 Ultra Ball to get your Pokemon out. 4 VS Seeker to your supporters. 1 AZ here, which automatically puts 1 Pokemon into your hand, and this could be cool to get back your whole Crobat line, and also you can use it for Shaman. If your only supporter card is AZ in your hand, you could AZ up your Shaman and put it back down to draw into more cards, which is great here. 1 Colors, which is almost a staple in almost every expanded deck. 1 Lysander, 3 and 4 Sycamore. We know what all these cards do here. And also, Pramawat played 1 Sound Lab, which I do like a lot in this deck to help out Aegis last year. each basic Pokemon in play in each player's hand and each player's discard pile has no abilities, so that way you don't have to worry about the Ancient Slash Mighty Shield, which prevents you from hurting it. I mean, you can use lasers and Golbats and Crobats to get around it, but this kind of secures it, and even it helps out if your opponent plays a lot of Shaymins and you Silent Lob them down turn 1 and they can't get rid of it, so they can't play their Shaymins, which is great here. 2 Verbanks, so that way your poison damage does 20 more. So right now, a Quaking Punch will do 30, 4, 5, 6, so basically 60 damage with the Verbank Laser. Muscle Band do 20 more damage, and he did play 3 of these. So now your Quaking Punch can do up to 80 damage, and not counting the Golbats and Crobats damage, which could be pretty much unlimited, depending on how many Golbats and Crobats to put down during the turn. 4 DC and 3 Water, and of course the DC is for the Mewtwo, for the Toad. It's for anybody. Everybody has a colorless attack here, pretty much. Besides the Zubat, you can attack with anybody but this Zubat in your deck here. And you do play 3 Water Energies, just in case if you need to Grenade Hammer, you can do that for 130. You can attach the Water Energies to the Crobat and Golbats instead of wasting a DC on them. You can attach it to the Dedenne because it does need a 1 energy shot here, or energy short, sorry about that. But this is the deck that Michael used to win the regionals. He did beat Jason Klasinski in the finals of it, which he did play a Blastoise deck, so that is pretty surprising here. But it could be done if Jason missed the turn 1 Archies or didn't have an explosive start like we saw from Jacob against Mies in the finals at Worlds here. But hope you enjoyed this video, and let's see this deck in action. Alrighty, so here we're playing against Kyle Sukovich. Oh my goodness. We get a rematch against Kyle Sukovich, and he is playing some kind of fighting deck here. I always get paired against Kyle, but here we got a Seismitoad. We got double Zubat, and let's see what he is playing here today. Our hand's kind of bad, though, with the double Verseeker, the 2 Zubats. So, at least we can put down... Well, we won't put down the Zubats yet. We'll surprise them. Alright, so let's see what he is playing here. So, there's a Shaymin start. That's not probably what he wants to see. So, here, put down Zubat, Ultra Ball, discard these 2. And we are looking for a Shaymin here. So we can draw some cards. Are both our Shaymins prized? Oh my goodness, both Shaymins are prized right now. Okay, so I guess we'll just grab a 3rd Zubat. That seems fine, I guess. Yeah. And yeah, we'll just end our turn here. I probably should have Verseeker for a Sycamore. Whoops. If he Quake Punches me here, we'll be in big trouble. I kind of forgot to Verseeker for the Sycamore. And let's see what happens this time around. Last time we played against him, it was in Standard. I can't remember what he did play. I think obviously it was a totally different deck. I think it was Mega Manectric, and we were playing Golurk. It'll be interesting to see what he's playing this time. I did see some kind of fighting in his deck. I didn't see a Water. There we see an end from Kyle. Alright, he probably thought we had a really bad hand, but it was kind of actually decent. And there we see a Battle Compressor here. Going to discard some stuff. I can't believe both Shaymins are prized, though. That is pretty crazy. Maybe he thought it had a really good hand because it Ultra Balled away the Sycamore and the Verseeker. Maybe he thought, like, alright, maybe he's going to conserve his... I don't know. Maybe he thought I was going to conserve my... like my DC and stuff, just in case he plays Enhanced Hammer. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff he probably was thinking about, but probably wasn't right because our hand was just really bad, and right now it's still really bad here. But he's currently using Battle Compressor, and let's see what he discards here. He discards an Archeops. Oh no, it's an Evolol deck. Oh no. Oh, help me. But we do play the Dedenne, which could help us a lot. There we see an Ultra Ball. He actually discards a DCE there. Alright, that last card must be something very important because he opted to discard a DCE besides that. There we see Shaymin drawn up to 5 there. Now, if we can draw into a laser, we can actually knock out the Shaymin. Let's see, 20, 5, 8. Oh, never mind. That does not knock it out. Just JK. That does not knock it out. But there we see a laser onto our Toad here. There we see an Ultra Ball, discarding Ultra Ball and a Hex Maniac. Alright. I think this deck does need Hex Maniac as well. There we see a Jirachi. Maybe for the next turn, there we see Dark Patch going onto the Darkrai. And I'm still trying to figure out if that one card is something important. So there we see another Dark Energy going onto the Darkrai. It's just a pass here. Alright, so our turn. Let's see here. I think We'll put down the Golbat. Put 20 onto the Darkrai. And then let's think here. Do we Super Scoop the Toad or not? 9, 10, 11, 9, 10, 11, 12. The max that Darkrai can do right now is 120 next turn. So I'm not really worried about that knocking us out here. There's no way he can power a Evital EX next turn as well. So we'll just put a DC here. Muscle Bandit. And we'll probably just Quake a Punch here for 50. My internet is being kind of slow. Don't you disconnect me, internet. We're playing against the one and only Kyle Sukovic. Don't you do that, internet. You play nice. Attach your DCE here. Oh, buddy, don't do this to me. Come on now. Come on, stick with us. Stick at the game. Don't let me down. Okay, there we go. Muscle Band. And yeah, we'll just Quake a Punch here for 50. And then next turn, we can put down the Crobat and actually knock out the Shaman next turn. Or we can Super Scoop up the Golbat and then Shaman for the knockout. There's a lot of different combinations. There we see a Jirachi here. Probably grabbing a Juniper, I would imagine. Or maybe another End. Kyle could help us out once again. As long as this one card is not an energy. If he like energies and then uses the Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick, we would be in big trouble there for sure. But there's a Sycamore, so that's not a Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick, which is great for us. And let's see what Kyle does here. There's Sycamore. He has a third energy onto the Darkrai. So maybe we can try to Super Scoop up this Toad. Okay, so right now we're at 150. So here we'll try to Super Scoop up, trying to pick up the Toad. And we fail it. Okay. Alrighty, what do we do here? Okay, so we go back to 140, 19, 11, 12. So I think we could do is this. We could put down the Crobat. Put 30 onto the Darkrai. Laser to knock out the Shaman here. We'll put down the other Toad, and here we'll just Quake a Punch for the knockout with the Poison. There we go. Taking 2 prize cards. And there's our Shaman. Thank you, Shaman, for staying with us. Alright, so this Darkrai has 130. Can we potentially knock it out next turn? There we see Getsis. Only get 1 card there. He maybe thought I had a really good hand, but I don't. I have a really bad hand right now. Don't want to put down the Verbank as well, because that means he can... You know, the laser damage will do more. There we see his own Verbank coming down. There we see Keldeo as well. And let's see what else does Kyle have here. There's 90, and let's see where the 30 decides to go onto. Probably the other Toad, if I were to take a guess. The Zubats don't really matter that much. Yeah, so there's 30 onto the Toad. So our turn here. Alright, so the Toad needs to be picked up or it will get knocked out this turn. So here we'll Shaman, drawn up to 5. Super Scoop up number 1. Oh man, Super Scoop up number 2. Don't let me down! There we go. So pick up Toad here. Sit up the Crobat. Toad, Muscle Band, DCE. Do we only have a Sycamore? Yeah, so here we'll just Sycamore. We get a laser trying to put the Darkrai to sleep. We don't. So 5, 6, 7. 5. We're doing 8. We can... I kind of want to keep the Mewtwo. So here, Ultra Ball, discard these 2. We'll grab a Golbat, put that down, put 20 here, and here we will just retreat into the Seismitoad, and we'll just Quake a Punch for 80 total, and it'll leave it at 30 HP. And so what we can do next turn is put down a Crobat and knock out the Darkrai that way, which is great for us. We do have another DCE ready to go. If for some reason he likes 06 here. I think we pretty much won this game. As long as he doesn't get out the Maxies, this game is pretty much easy for us here. Because now he can't use the Dark Patches, he can't use his own lasers. It's just a really bad situation for him. And he doesn't even have an Evital out, which is probably, like, if he gets out Evital, that's probably a big deal. But since we have the Crobats and Golbats and stuff like that, we can easily knock out the Evital. So there we see a Sky Return for 30. And there we see a Darkrai, okay. So here we'll just Muscle Band, DCE this Toad. Sycamore, looking for a Crobat. I guess we'll try to... no, actually Computer Search, discard the double in here. And just guaranteed the Crobat knockout right now. And then, yeah, well, I think it's just guaranteed in the knockout right now is probably the best play here. So taking 2 prizes there. Now we're just looking for a laser. Okay, that's not a laser. I'll try to Super Scoop up, trying to pick up a Crobat. There we go. So pick up a Crobat, put that down, put down Golbat, 20 here. And here we'll just Quake a Punch for 50. At 110, what we could do next turn is we could put down a Crobat and Laser and actually knock out the Dark right there. That is 110 altogether. We do have a Colress as well. There we see a Life Center bringing up the Shaman here. How many Super Scoop Ups are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're down 4 right now, so we just have to AZ up the Shaman. There we see a DC going out to Keldeo, and just a pass here. So let's think here. We'll just AZ, pick up the Shaman, send up the. It doesn't matter. We'll just send the Toad regardless. I'm trying to figure out if the Crobat matters right now. I think it's better keeping it in our hand right now. Bring it down to 120. Next turn we can do what? A Crobat drop and a Golbat with a Laser knocks it out. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so we need a Crobat and a Golbat with a Laser drop next turn to actually knock out the Keldeo. They ever seen Evital, and that could get powered up pretty easily here. But all of his Pokemon are pretty much low HP, which is great for us. And they ever see a pass from Kyle. Not the best shape for him. Here we're gonna Crobat, put 30 here. We'll keep the Muscle Band just in case for the Evital. And here we'll Colress. Alright, here we'll Ultra Ball, discard the Zubat, and we'll do Zubat and the Silent Lab. I don't think the Silent Lab is going to be worth it. And there's the Golbat. So you put down the Golbat here, 20 to that guy. Alright, and then next turn, all we have to do is we can Skill Dive this Keldeo for the knockout. So here's 50. If we don't, we have the Crobat in hand, but we can also just retreat into the Crobat. Well, we can't retreat right now, regardless. But we should be okay. All we have to do now is just Crobat, and we can knock out the Keldeo. And tell him good game. I can't actually say anything to him. So here with Crobat, knocking out the Keldeo here and taking a win against the the Evital Darkrai deck. Not very eventful from Kyle, kind of with some stuff. He actually helped us out there with that turn 1 where I prized both our Shamans. Did I prize both our Shamans? I think I did, if I remember correctly. But thanks for watching. We'll see one more game with the Seismitoad Crobat deck. This kind of did show a lot, and we got to play against Kyle Sukovic, so we'll play one more game with the deck, and we'll see what happens. Alrighty, so everybody gets iHail44944. Definitely a weird name here, and they do decide, do they want to go first or not, and they are playing some kind of grass deck. It's an Archie's Toys. Oh, buddy, and we get 2 mulligans. Alright, so an Archie's Toys deck here. It's all going to come down to, it's a rematch of the World Championship, basically, here. Alright, and it's a rematch of the Regionals, because we know that Pram did beat Jason in the finals of this Regionals here. I'll keep Shaman in her hand. There's an Articuno start, and if he doesn't have the turn 1 Archies here, we actually have a really good hand to slow down the Keldeo decks. But we'll have to see what happens here. And also the deck does play Silent Lab, which can shut down the the double Russian if need be. They were seeing Ultra Ball, discarding an Egg and a Blastoise here. Oh man, if he whiffs this turn, that's going to be amazing. So there we see a Keldeo, Battle Compressor here. Now he's down to 3 cards. What are those other 3 cards? Hopefully it's just a computer search. That'd be amazing for my opponent here. So let's see what this Battle Compressor does. It could discard like a Superior or like double Water. Oh, there's an Archie's, Egg, and Water. Another Compressor here. So it's probably a great indication that he does have the turn 1 Archies here. Okay, let's see what the other 2 cards are. There's a Rough Seas. Oh, Shaman for 6 here. Okay, so he doesn't have it yet, but now he has a whole new 6 cards to work with. Okay. And there's a Rough Seas. Now, usually these lists only play like 1 Rough Seas. So if we can, oh, there's a Water Energy attachment too. That's probably not a great sign here. The chilling side could be, there we see an Ultra Ball. Discarding those 2. What cards did he discard? A second Rough Seas and a Water Energy. There's a Keldeo. Compressor here. What is that 1 card? Is it a Verse Seeker or is it another Shaman? Oh man. How many energies is down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 energies down already. Okay. Show me Verse Seeker. There he is. There we go. Very nice for my opponent here. Turn 1 Archie's ace in the hole. He had to dig for it a lot, but he got it though. So there's the Blastoise. Okay. Claps for my opponent. Not really. I mean, why do we want to clap for that? Alright, so, oh man, he did not use his Superior this turn. Alright, so here Ultra Ball, discard Ultra Ball. And Super Scoop Up. That should be okay. Here, grab a Toad. So here, put down the Toad, Laser, has DCE here, Zubat, Verbank, Shaman, Setup. Okay, here we'll just retreat, and we'll sadly just have to punch here for 60, or for 30, then poison. He stays asleep here, but he does have Keldios. But what we can do next turn is start using the Silent Lab that we have in our hand here to shut down the Russian ability. But sadly, the Silent Lab does not get rid of the Deluge off the Blastoise here. Okay, so it'd be kind of like a mistake of my opponent if he had a Verse Seeker in his hand, if he had a Superior, and he didn't play those, because you always have to contemplate that your opponent is going to play the Toad deck. So if he had those and opts not to, that's a big mistake there. And there we see a Deluge onto the Keldeo. Just one so far. And we see that he actually keeps the Articuno in the axe spot here. A very weird decision because we can just Quake a Punch and knock out the Articuno here. And yeah, we're going to put down the Silent Lab here, and we're just going to Quake a Punch for the knockout. And you're going to notice I'm not going to play the end, and that's because he didn't play his supporter last turn. So whoever he can miss in the active spot now, it's going to be pretty much stuck there because of the Silent Lab. He's already played 2 Rough Seas, so those are pretty much gone. If he played a third one, that would be really surprising here. And then we see a victory screen there. We see my opponent probably just had a bunch of item cards in his hand that he couldn't play. We have the laser. We can start punching for 40, at least a turn, 50 back to us. So we're in good shape there to win that matchup for sure. Even though he did have the turn 1 Archies, I'm just not sure if he had like item cards and just opted not to play them because he didn't know what deck he was playing. But big advice here, if you are playing an Archie's Toys deck and turn 1 you just see a random Pokemon and you don't know what deck it is, always just assume to play all your item cards down. But like I said, I don't know what he had. Maybe it was just like a bunch of like I don't know what cards could be in there. Like Superior, he had double eggs in there. If it was a Verse Seeker, he could have grabbed there wasn't a Sycamore in there, there was an Archie's, so he couldn't really grab his supporter-wise. But if you had, like, Trader's Mail, Superior, Acrobike, Pokemon, I mean, 6 Pokemon in his hand would be pretty crazy. But we'll see another game here with Tobats here in a second. Alrighty, so we're putting against iHail 44944. I think this is the Blastoise player we just played against. We are going first here. And yeah, I think this is the Blastoise player. Not 100% sure. Could be wrong here. But we'll find out together what we are playing against. Let's see. So we're going to start Dedenne here. Okay, there's a Wailord. So here we get a Toad, a Muscle Band, Sycamore, Laser, Heads, Water Energy onto the Dedenne. And yeah, we'll just end our turn here. Tails, it stays asleep here. Now let's see if our opponent has the turn 1 Archies. We saw iHail did have the turn 1 Archies last turn. But this time we don't have that great of a start for sure. We got a Super Scoop up. We can pick up the Dedenne if we need to. We got the Super Rod to get back our Crobats if we need to. We could use actually Entrainment to search for 2 basic Pokemon. But I would actually rather just Quake and Punch if my opponent doesn't have the turn 1 Archies here. So we see a Trader's Mail here. Going to look for 4 cards. On the top 4 cards of his deck, pick an item card, put it in his hand. Never seen Ultra Ball. Alrighty. And let's see what else he has here. There's a plethora of options he can get here with Ultra Ball. He can get Shaman, he can get Jirachi. There's a computer search. Like, a computer search is like a definite, like, turn 1 Archies whenever I see it. Like, he can computer search here for another Ultra Ball for 2 Pokemon. Bench something in his hand, like there has to be a Water Energy or something. Like yeah, he get Ultra Ball. There's a Compressor here. Yeah, if he does not have a turn 1 Archies here, I'd be super surprised. Like I'm so surprised here if he doesn't have a turn 1 Archies here. But I imagine he does, because that would be pretty ridiculous if he doesn't. Because with this Compressor, I mean, he can just discard whatever. We know he has an Ultra Ball in his hand, so I mean, hopefully he at least has a. Well, if the Ultra Ball's discard 2 Pokemon that has a Verse Seeker, he has it this turn, for sure. If he doesn't have, let's see what he discards here. So an Archie's Ace in the hole, so yeah, he has a Verse Seeker in his hand right now. It's a dead giveaway here. So we're going to see an Ultra Ball. There we go. Discards a Superior. Okay, that's great for us here. So he discards a Superior and a Ultra Ball. There we see Keldeo, Verse Seeker here for the good old Archie's Ace in the hole. Now we know our opponent does actually play 2 Rough Seas. We saw it in the last game. He did play 2 Rough Seas. So here's the Trader's Mail here. Go look at top 4 cards of his deck. He needs to dig here for the superior energy retrievals or a Sycamore for the next turn, because I'm going to try my hardest to Quake a Punch, and if we don't, I will cry. So there's the superior here, but he doesn't have any water energies in the discard pile. Currently, there we see one Deluge. There's two Deluge. Do we see a third one or not? There's an egg. And so there's superior there. I'm going to discard a Sycamore and an egg. And here we'll see at least one water. There's one. So this Keldeo can knock us out this turn here. It will do 110 onto our Portalo Dedenne. There's a water energy to the Keldeo. Rush in. And a Secret Sword for the knockout. There we go. Alrighty. So our turn here. We'll, of course, promote the Toad. We don't have any options. So here we'll Super Rod. Get back these three. I'll actually get back the water energy. I think that's the better play here. And we'll just Sycamore here. Looking for a DCE. Alright, we don't have one yet. Here we'll Ultra Ball, discard the end of our Seeker. He'll grab another Zubat. Put that down. Shaman up to 4. There's a DCE. There's a Zubat. And we could put the Silent Lab down, but I don't want to right now because we know he does have the 2 Rough Seas here. But if we get a Verbank down next turn, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 2 Golbats, we can knock out this Keldeo next turn. So they will see a Secret Sword for 110. I'm going to attach a Water Energy to a Zubat, so that way... Well, hold on. Sorry about the coughing. I'm going to put a Water Energy to the Keldeo. That seems like the better choice here. Now, we can Coerce for 4, 5, 6. Yeah, see, it's fine. So we're Coerce here. We get, okay, so we can Computer Search, discard AZ, and Enhanced Hammer. Here, I'm going to grab a Laser and try to put this Keldeo to sleep from attacking us next turn. So, Laser here, heads, put to sleep. Shaman. Yep, drawn to we have 6 cards. I apologize for that. I'm really sorry. Alright, so here we'll Ultra Ball, discard Sycamore in the water. Grab, no, not a Crobat, a Golbat. Put that down, put 20 onto here, and yeah, we'll just Quake a Punch here, and hopefully he stays asleep. Ah, he wakes up. Okay, so he wakes up here. Keldeo will take a knockout here, but what can he do next turn is the big question. There's a Shaman drawn up to 6. And I'm just waiting for him to put down Rough Seas. But there we don't see any Rough Seas down this turn, and this Keldeo will go down to 30 damage. Okay, that's great for us. And here we're just going to Verse Seeker for Coerce. Coerce for 7. Alright, so here we'll put down the Crobat to the Keldeo, of course. Taking 2 prize cards. We need an Ultra Ball. There we go. Alright, pretty clutch Ultra Ball here. So now we can Ultra Ball for a Toad. So, I'm sorry about my coughing. Ultra Ball, discard the Verbank. And a DCE, I think that's the best play here, to grab a Toad. Here, put down the Toad. Laser the Wailord. Heads, put down Verbank. DCE here. Retreat, and we'll Quake a Punch only for 60 here. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry I'm coughing everywhere. My throat's kind of thirsty, hold on a second. Alright, maybe that'll fix everything. But next turn, oh, there we see a victory screen once again. So best 2 out of 3, we saw the Toad deck beat the Archtoys deck. So even though we saw Jacob Van Wagner destroy Mies in the finals, he just ran so hot, but you can see how easily the Toad Crobat deck can beat the Blastoise deck. I don't know what's going on here with my cough. I'm sorry about that. Hold on 1 second. It's probably that's so unprofessional. I'm sorry about that. But there we go. Best 2 out of 3. He actually went. Did he go first in game 2? I think he did. I'm not sure. No, he actually went second this game. But I don't think that matters regardless. He did have the Turn 1 Archies in his hand, ready to go. So that's great for our opponent here. Both games he had the Turn 1 Archies. But you can see why the Toad deck does beat the Archtoys deck pretty easily. Even though, on theory, you would think that the Arch deck would beat the Blastoise deck if they ran hot. That's the big question. Can they run hot or not? And also, the Silent Lab does change a bunch of things up, especially if they discard all the Rough Seas like we saw in the first game against him. There we go. So game 1, we beat Kyle. In round 2 and 3, we played against the same Blastoise player. This wasn't even like intentional. This was randomized online. So there we go. So we beat a Trying to figure out. Oh, a dark deck, and we beat the Blastoise deck. Pretty much the two biggest decks in the format right now. The only deck we did not play against was Vespiquen. And Vespiquen is definitely a shaky matchup because the Vespiquen's hit for weakness, but you do have the Crobats and Golbats to knock out the bench Combies and stuff like that before they evolve. And you do have that one enhanced hammer, so like I said earlier at the start of the video, you can Quake Punch, discard, and then enhance hammer the bench DCE, and get rid of 2 DCEs off that turn, and they are forced to Blacksmith onto a Flareon, or dig for the 3rd and or 4th DCE there. So hopefully during this video, you can see why Seismitoad Crobat is probably one of the strongest decks in the format right now. I'm kind of surprised that we didn't see any cut in the Lancaster Philadelphia regionals, whatever you call it, last weekend. I guess nobody's playing it, or maybe all the Mega Miniatures took it out, because that is kind of a rough matchup. That's where the Giratina does shine, though, but we see this time around it did not play the Giratina here. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great Thursday already. Bye.